Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing well. It's kind of hard to believe we're in November already. On the one hand, I feel like there's quite a bit more to get through in 2024, but then it keeps hitting me that 2025 is almost here. It's quite an odd feeling. I don't know if you're feeling that way too. But anyway, we just have to keep moving through the year, don't we? This is another timeless reading that's for somebody out there. I feel like it's the busyness of life right now, but I only seem to be able to do these kinds of readings at the moment. I keep thinking about doing some picker piles, but it just seems like too big a commitment to fit into my days. So we'll see. Hopefully at some point I can get back to doing those. I still feel like I'm sort of recovering from the heaviness of the energies that I was dealing with in October. And I guess as someone who just goes with the flow these days, the picker piles will have to wait until I'm actually in the right space to do them and can invest the time to do them justice. And it's so funny to look at yourself and see just how much you've changed over the years, because I never used to think much about how I was feeling, only what I needed to get done. And now it just feels like it's wrong to force things to happen if I'm not feeling good. So the thinking these days is the right time will come for that. And I'm finding that even with deadlines on things that I'm not keen to do, I seem to just ask Spirit to help me find the time to do those things. And they seem to just get done in time without me getting too stressed about it. In the past, I would be stressing and worrying about if I was going to manage to get those kinds of things done. But I feel like I'm learning to work with Spirit more when it comes to time. And it's also making me feel more relaxed, like I'm finally understanding that nothing has to be perfect. It has to be done to an acceptable standard, and that's all. And I think wanting things to be perfect used to cast a big shadow over everything I was ever trying to do in the past. And that meant obviously that nothing was ever about having fun or enjoying the process while I was doing something. So it's actually nice to discover that I've ditched that kind of mindset. But anyway, enough about me. This reading is, as I always say, not intended for everyone. My intention is that these readings find the people they're meant for and at the right time. If the storyline that emerges is not resonating for you, it's not for you. You can still watch the whole reading, because it's always an intention of mine that anyone who's drawn to one of my readings will gain something from it. Whether that's an insight, a bit of wisdom, or just the opportunity to see something from a different perspective. So if you happen to be here, I think you're meant to be here. Now at this point here, we'll just pause the video so we can intentionally send some love out into the universe. You can just send some loving energy, or you can do a little Ho'oponopono prayer with the 4 sentences. Thank you, I love you, I'm sorry, and please forgive me. These are great ripples that we can create, and I think they probably do end up being bigger in terms of their impact than we can appreciate. Anyway, the time to pause the video is now, and the reading will start on the next slide. Okay, so here we are with the spread for this reading. Thank you everyone who just did the love pause just now. Now in terms of the spread, if you're interested in the decks that I've used here, I'll have them listed in the description box. Okay, the card at the bottom of the deck is the 4 of Pentacles, and immediately behind it when I was pulling my cards, I had the Wheel of Fortune card. Now, I don't tend to leave major arcana cards behind, so that one is here as well. Now, there's definitely a bit of a contrast with these 2 cards, because the 4 of Pentacles is someone who controls their circumstances out of fear. They fear things going wrong, so they keep a tight grip on everything and they refuse to take risks. In fact, they will even refuse to engage with new possibilities or opportunities, and that's simply out of fear. They just fear that something might go wrong. And this mindset obviously means that they can miss out on things that might actually be very good for them. Now, the Wheel of Fortune showing up is something changing unexpectedly. So this is something this person isn't expecting at all. And it's a big energy. It's big and it's life-changing kind of energy with the Wheel of Fortune. This is the wild card of the tarot. Now, as the name suggests, it changes fortunes. And it's associated with Jupiter, which is a benefic planet. So it means I do tend to see it positively. This card is about luck and fate intervening to change the course of someone's life. Wow, the reading feels exciting already, doesn't it? The cards in the spread are quite interesting as well. The oracle cards have interesting messages, and the tarot spread ends with the moon, which makes it all a bit mysterious. I guess I'll just have to start channeling and see where it goes. If I feel like we need extra clarifiers, I can pull extra cards. So we'll just see how we go. All right, so the tarot card in the past position is the Sun card. Now, I would have loved to see this in the last spot instead of the Moon card, but I'm just going to focus on the fact that the Sun card is a great card and it's a good energy to have in any position, in any spread. So the Sun card is a Leo card and it's the most positive card in a tarot deck. And it's here in the past position. So whoever this reading is for has been in this energy of joy and happiness. And I tend to associate the Sun energy with a happy inner child. So this is definitely talking about someone who's been feeling really good. And it's probably related to them doing things that make them feel good on the inside. In the present position, we have the Knight of Cups, which is water sign energy. I tend to read this card as Pisces energy. The Knight of Cups in the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith card is holding a cup to give to someone. So it's symbolizing an offer of love or appreciation. The image on this card is different and it almost looks like it could be the Ace of Cups card because it looks like the cup is being presented by a spirit and the knight can go in and claim it. That would mean the love offer is for the knight rather than from the knight like it is in the traditional image. I should also say that when I first looked at this card, I thought of the Knight of Wands. I was just feeling that energy in this knight. And maybe that is because we're talking about someone who's been doing things that make them feel good. The Knight of Wands is someone who follows their passions. That's really not Knight of Cups energy, but this Knight of Cups has also been focused on doing things they love. So maybe that's why I was getting that sort of feeling from them. And the Knight of Wands, I guess I should say, is fire sign energy, but I tend to see it as Sagittarian energy. And all right, so looking at what looks like the Ace of Cups showing up, I'm feeling like this could well be what the Wheel of Fortune was talking about. This is like big love showing up, the kind of love that can change everything about a person's life in a positive way. Before I move on to the Moon card, it's also interesting that the spirit that seems to be offering this person the cup of love looks very similar to the spirit that was on the Sun card. Now, in the Sun card, the spirit was noticing the person as they fly closer to the sun. And there are actually 3 spirits on each of these cards, but in both of them, there's only one spirit that's actually paying attention and choosing to interact with the person in the card. So what I feel like this is suggesting is that this night's energy of happiness is what has drawn this particular spirit's attention. And after a period of observation, this spirit has decided that they want to offer this knight this cup of love. Now, I might just stick to using the labels knight and spirit so that you can know which character I'm talking about. But if we were talking about a human storyline, which we probably are, these are 2 humans that we're talking about. So the knight is the one who's been focused on creating a life of happiness, and the spirit is the one who has observed how happy and positive this knight is and has been drawn in by that. So this spirit wants to meet this knight and build a connection with them. Now in the future position, we have the Moon card, and interestingly, we see the spirit on this card again. But in this image, the person looks like they've unmasked this spirit, and maybe before the spirit was ready to be unmasked. Interestingly, the Moon is also a Pisces card, and that's making me feel like we're talking about this knight's own imagination. The Moon card is a card of illusions, shadows, and fears. So this image where they have unmasked this person who is offering them the cup of love, and they've revealed, and so in this image they've revealed that this person is not what they actually appear to be. But I feel like this Moon card is actually their own projection. This hasn't happened. It's just their own fears that no one is what they seem. And now I'm thinking back to that 4 of Pentacles energy that was at the bottom of the deck. So that was someone who also fears anything new. And that person's fears are that any new experience might end badly and cause them harm. So that person was someone who shuts themselves away so they can feel safe. And so this Moon card is showing us this person's fears in relation to anyone new entering their life. They have trouble trusting anyone new because they've been burned in the past. The people they've allowed into their lives have seemed great in the beginning, but then turned out to not be good people. And I'm going to guess that this has happened a few times in the past. This person has got close to people and then been let down by those people. So this has been a repeating cycle, and that's why they've entered that Four of Pentacles attitude of feeling like they're safer being on their own. In their minds, they've concluded that relationships are not for them, or that they have a bad picker or something like that. They've decided that it's best that they just stay single. So here in this storyline, the spirit comes toward the knight, offering the love, and the knight is actually really triggered by this offer. Now, the moon is a major arcana card, so it's having a pretty significant impact here. The knight is essentially seeing the spirit, and they're thinking about all the other people they've dealt with and how that turned out, how badly that turned out. And they're afraid that this is just going to be another one of those experiences. Now, there is an oracle card here titled Prison Waif. And when I first looked at the spread, I had no idea what it was talking about, but it actually makes perfect sense now. And I didn't even see it before, but this card actually looks a bit like the Four of Pentacles card, even though they're totally different images. They're images of different things. So the Four of Pentacles card shows a dragon, and the Prison Waif shows a fairy, and their postures are different. But when you look at this from a distance, it looks like a similar sort of posture of the character. But anyway, so the shapes are similar. Now, the Prison Waif card talks about self-sabotage and poverty consciousness. So the prison waif is someone who has locked themselves away because they think that life behind these bars is as good as it can get for them. So they are in fact actively sabotaging their chances of a better future by not allowing themselves to experience anything else. So that fits perfectly with what we're talking about with that Four of Pentacles card. Now, there is another card here, the Truce card, which has the keywords ceasefire, resolve, and prosperity. And I'm just getting a feeling that this is saying that this knight needs to take a bit of a time out. So they might be triggered by this love offer from the spirit, but they need to pause here and not react impulsively. This is about the knight processing these feelings they're having rather than acting on them. They need to process these feelings in order to resolve them. And we do have the word prosperity here, which is again reminding me of the Wheel of Fortune card. So there's definitely the potential for something good to come of this connection if the knight can hold off on the acts of self-sabotage. So they need to pause, resolve the issue, and then there would be the possibility of prosperity. Now, in terms of what's going on here, I know it's possible. Sorry, I just had to pause the video for a second. But in terms of what's going on here, I know it's possible to have what seems like a repeating cycle of disappointing connections. I feel like sometimes we can get stuck in a karmic loop with one person, but we can also get stuck in a karmic pattern, and that tends to show up as the same kind of experience repeating with a series of different people. And it obviously is demoralizing in a big way to find yourself constantly disappointed by the people that you get close to. And sorry, I do feel though that these cycles only repeat until you figure out what they're about. So once you gain clarity about what the common thread is with all of these experiences, you'll stop being sucked in by the same karmic pattern. Once you know what the thing is that all of these people have had in common, or what they've put you through has had in common, you will then start to recognize it when you see it in a new person, and you'll be able to avoid getting involved with that new person. So it kind of becomes like a pattern recognition thing. So if, for example, your problem has been people who have been overcritical or judgy or negative, and then you figure out that if you figure that out, then if you meet people who start carrying on that way, you'll be able to say, I'm not doing this again. You'll just decide they're not the kind of person you want to engage with, and then you'll move on. Similarly, it might be that your past connections were with people who were selfish and controlling, or maybe superficial and materialistic. It could be anything. But the thing is that when you have figured out these kinds of traits in a person will not lead to a happy connection, you will just know that that's not something you want to get involved with again. You'll see someone acting that way and you'll just think, yeah, nah, and then get out of there and away from that new person. So that's an Aussie thing, by the way, the yeah, nah. So really, if you're feeling like you've been attracting some kind of repeating karmic pattern, you just need to pause and figure out what all of these people had in common. What traits did you see early on that you didn't know were going to be problematic later? What red flags did you fail to notice or fail to take seriously or allow yourself to tolerate? What boundaries were you failing to establish or defend? And I can honestly say that once you start a forensic examination of this kind, you will figure things out. You'll figure a lot of things out. And the outcome of that process is what will liberate you from that repetitive karmic pattern. And in some ways, I feel like the universe actually tests us a little bit. It will keep presenting us with the same kind of people until we figure it out. And then once we start turning those people away, the universe might think, oh, good, they figured it out. And then I think the next test is often sending you someone without those problematic traits. And that's just to test how you'll respond to that. So that's to test if you can recognize someone who might actually be good for you and to see if you will allow yourself to engage with that kind of person, if you will allow them into your life. So getting back to that prison wave card, this seems like Spirit is wanting to work out if you're someone who will take a chance on someone if they seem like a good person, or if you're just someone who will lock yourself away and just to feel safe. And I feel like in this reading, Spirit is wanting to remind you that if you choose to be alone because you think that's safer, you will pretty much always be alone. If, on the other hand, you decide that it's okay to meet new people and engage with them, then you'll find out that some of those people are wrong for you. Some of those people are fine, and some of those people might turn out to actually be really good for you. So even if it feels risky to give people a chance, it's actually the only way you can find the right people. You just have to use your discernment when you are meeting new people. I should also say the moon card is often an energy that's described as something to navigate using your intuition. So whenever you meet new people, start paying attention to how you feel about them. What is your gut feeling? Does it feel good to be around them? Does it feel tense or stressful? Does it feel uncomfortable or heavy? Well, those feelings can actually be telling you a lot. And maybe that's what you should be trusting in the future. Now, it's interesting that I was talking about liberating yourself from the karmic pattern earlier because the last card features a lotus and a dragonfly, and both are symbols of transcendence to me. The lotus grows through the water and blooms on top of the water. The dragonfly starts its life in water and then becomes a flying insect. So water is the element that relates to emotion, and so I see both of these symbols as representing the ability to rise above emotion and not be confined by it. In this reading, the emotion that will cause you to give up on experiencing love and connection with others is fear. Fear of being hurt, fear of being disappointed, fear of giving too much of yourself to the wrong people. The fears are understandable, but Spirit is telling you that you can choose to rise above these fears and not let them stop you from engaging with the world. This oracle card is titled Sacred Space, and that's making me think of meditation, which is always a great way to feel more secure in yourself. The message on the card reads, take time for the dreamer in you. Find your power in stillness. In your sacred space is the peace you seek. And I think that's a reminder that whatever our external experiences might be, we can always find our power and our peace when we go within. I also feel like this is a reminder that we are all complete and always have been and always will be. The connections we're looking for shouldn't be about people who we believe will make us feel complete or with people who think they need us to feel complete. That's actually codependence. So we need to know that we're okay on our own, and the connections we're looking for should also be people who know that they're okay on their own. Because when you get that, the connections are then only going to be about soul alignment. You will both like spending time with each other because it feels good. It's not about what you can do for them or what they can do for you. It's just about sharing experiences that both souls are going to find spiritually uplifting. And those are actually the kinds of connections to look for. And that's it for this reading. If you felt like this reading resonated for you, don't be the prison wave. Have faith that there are good people out there and that you will find them if you keep looking and if you keep engaging with the opportunities that life puts in your path. And I definitely have a good feeling about it all because of that Wheel of Fortune card. And that's it, everyone. This is the end of the reading. I hope you enjoyed it. As I mentioned before, all the decks I used today will be listed in the description box. Some of the decks will have Amazon links next to them, and I should explain that these are affiliate links, so you can use them to check the decks out, but if you then purchase the deck after you've clicked on that link, I could earn a small commission for the deck purchase, as long as it meets Amazon's criteria. The link itself should take you to the most appropriate Amazon site for your location, and from your perspective, the affiliate link has no impact because you will still pay the usual Amazon price and you'll have access to the shipping deals that you would normally get. The only other thing to say is the link is actually only valid for 24 hours unless the item gets added to your cart. So if you are thinking of using my personal links, you can just add the item to your cart while you're considering it. And then you can always remove it if you change your mind about buying it or find a better deal somewhere else. And for those people who are wanting to use these particular links, there is some extra information in the description box, so please check that out as well. I've also gone back and updated all of my older videos, so even though I'm not going to be mentioning them in those videos, the deck list is going to be in the description box for those videos as well. Now, if you're still watching, thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, I hope you'll consider subscribing to the channel or liking the video or leaving a comment. And if you're already subscribed, thank you very much for your ongoing support. That's it, everyone. I hope that I'll see you at another reading. Take care. Bye.